If you're running on empty, no planner, color-coded calendar, and definitely no productivity hack is going to save you. You cannot time block your way out of exhaustion. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to actually manage your energy so you can manage your time better. Welcome back to the Fire Inside podcast, the podcast for high-achieving, ambitious women who want to live a life they desire by learning how to manage their time better. I am your host, Sade Kelly, time management coach, wife, and mom who is on a mission to help every ambitious person that I can learn how to manage their time so they can balance their work, wellness, their relationships peacefully, because I know firsthand what managing your time better can do for your life. It can transform your entire life, help you to live a life you actually enjoy and live a life that you look back on and think about and you're like, wow, I am living the life of my dreams, because that is exactly how I feel. Even though I have more goals and things that I want to achieve, I'm always so thoroughly impressed with how I spend my time. Now, when it comes to energy management, it is not about just fitting more things in or getting more work done, but it's really about how can I manage what I am exerting, right? In terms of how much action and energy am I exerting into different areas of my life throughout my day so that I can preserve energy for the things that matter most to me. Many of us are not even aware of where we're most energetic and where our energy starts to dwindle off. If that is you, this is going to be the episode that's going to help you to figure out not only where your energy is going, but how to actually have more energy and some ways in which you can start implementing different lifestyle changes that will help you to have more energy. Because when we talk about managing our time, it's coming from a place of knowing our capacity and how much energy we can put into things and how much energy we are currently putting into things that may or may not be helping us or serving us in any way. Something you have to know in order to utilize your energy well is be aware of your energy peaks and your energy dips. Now, your energy peaks is when your energy is at its highest. It is peaking. It is really, really good. Your energy dips is where your energy is low, and you probably need to be designing your day around your energy peaks and your energy dips, and you may not be doing that already. So if you aren't aware of your energy peaks and dips, that is something that's completely normal. Most people are not aware of that, so that is okay. We're going to get you where you need to be, okay? One way you can do this is start tracking your energy, right? If you have never tracked your time, you should start doing it. Track your energy peaks and dips. So this can be as simple as tracking, I feel most energetic at this time. I have the energy, I have the mental focus and clarity, and I tend to dwindle off at XYZ time. Most people can have an idea of when that happens. I know I've worked with so many clients who are like, I'm really good in the morning, and then by like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, my energy starts to dip, and then maybe I have another peak at night. If you have no idea where your energy peaks and dips, you can start tracking it. And also in something like Rise, which is I believe the app is called Rise Sleep. It was when I was using it. I like this app because it actually helps you track when you wake up and when you go to sleep, and it tells you based on your sleep cycle where your energy will peak and dip. And you can start to look at it and reference it and see if that is actually accurate, and then utilize that to plan your day. Or you can utilize a health app wearable like a Oura Ring or like an Apple Watch, a Fitbit, or Ultra Human Ring. I mean, there's so many things on the market now for when it comes to health. There's things where you could take your blood and like you can track your blood glucose and your energy dips and peaks from those things. Like, pick whatever you want to be utilizing, right? I use an Apple Watch. I eventually want to get an Oura Ring because I think they're really cool. But I also used the Rise Sleep app in the past to get my energy dips and peaks. But now I just have a general idea because I also have taken my sleep chronotype. So if you have never taken your sleep chronotype, that is really important for you to know as well. I'll link that in the show notes. It's a fun quiz you can do. I read the book. It's called The Power of When by Michael Bruez, I believe his name is pronounced. I talked about this in my nighttime routine episode, I'm pretty sure. I'll also link that. But if you want to check that episode out. But the whole idea of is this, when your energy is highest. So I know my energy is highest mid-morning to early afternoon. That's when I need to be doing my most focused, most important, hardest task. And then I also have an energy peak at night, mostly because my son goes to sleep and I have more quiet time. So it's starting to pick up my energy at that time. But throughout the day and the afternoon, I know I have some dips, and early in the morning is not my most productive time. That's why I like to start my mornings very slow, do my morning routine, hang out with my son, cook breakfast. Like, my mornings start very calm, and then I get into my work. So if you don't have a general idea of your energy peaks and dips, you need that. You need to understand that data before any of these strategies that I'm going to give in this video are going to work. So let's get into these 7 strategies that you can use to actually increase your energy so you can manage your time better. Now, the first one is not a shocker, right? The first one is nutrition, right? You need to fuel your body, okay? When I first started learning about nutrition, the most amazing thing was that I didn't know how to actually read food labels. Like, I thought I knew, but I actually didn't. And I worked with nutritionists, and I was so amazed by learning what those different chemical names and the serving of sugar versus carbohydrates versus fat versus protein versus iron versus all the different things that are in the back of a label. When you understand those things, and when you actually start to understand what foods do for your life and for your body, it truly changes your mind. Now, I am not a nutritionist, so I'm not going to sit here and break that down for you, but I would consider hiring a nutritionist, working with a nutritionist, maybe getting one through your insurance, or just following someone online, or doing your own research in ChatGPT, or doing your own, just Googling it. But like, start to really have an understanding of your diet. Now, one thing that surprised me, and me and my friend actually talk about this, is like, doctors don't always know much about diet. Like, they'll tell you eat whole grains and have enough calcium and like eat protein, but like, they don't actually tell you what it does for your body, why you need to be doing this, how your health is directly impacted by what you're consuming. They just want to give you a medicine. Now, that is a whole pharmaceutical issue and capitalism that I'm not going to get into in this video, right? But the whole point of what I'm saying is have an understanding of what's going into your body, okay? I've had clients who are like, oh, I eating like pizza for lunch. No wonder why you're having a slump. Or I went out for wine with my team in the middle of the day. Hello, how do you think you're going to get work done after that, right? If you're not getting a good amount of protein, whole carbs, like actual complex carb, brown rice, sweet potatoes, like vegetables like string beans, spinach, greens, like if you're not getting a avocado, a compass of different foods into your diet, that is going to directly impact your energy. Now, I'm not telling you how to eat. I'm not saying you need to eat meat or you need to eat pescatarian or vegetarian or whatever else, right? You can pick the diet that works best for you. I'm just saying you need to eat holistically. You need to figure out what foods work well with you, make you feel energized, and what foods don't. I'll never forget the day I started realizing when I eat certain foods, I feel like this. When I eat certain foods, I feel like that. Like, really understanding this helps me to boost my energy. This helps me to crash my energy, right? I remember drinking so much coffee when I first started in corporate, not only to realize that it gives me an instant jump, just to have me have the worst crashes I've ever had in my life. Like, I was someone who drank coffee from a very young age. I know it's going to sound crazy to a lot of you, but I used to drink coffee from when I was like maybe in middle school, like probably like 12 years old. I would go and grab a coffee. I started taking the bus on my own. I grew up in New York City, so like taking the public bus at that time is not weird, but it's normalized. And I would stop by like the corner store and go get a cappuccino all the freaking time because I was exposed to coffee at home. My mom was a big coffee drinker. I enjoyed coffee, and I slowly stopped drinking it probably around like 18, 19. When I was 19, I moved to London. I studied abroad there, and everyone there would consume tea, and tea was such a big thing. And I realized when I'm drinking tea, I actually feel better than when I would drink coffee. I had less energy dips and I felt better. So I would start drinking like Earl Grey and green tea, and the tea in London is just like top notch. So hello, it was amazing. And my boss actually helped me learn how to create these different teas from like loose tea leaves. Like, I was so amazed by the tea culture. And now I'm still a big tea drinker. Before that, I only drank tea when I was like sick, but now I'm like so into tea, and I realized I don't even need daily caffeine. From time to time, I have caffeine. Like, I do enjoy green tea or black tea, but for the most part, I drink like herbal teas in the morning, or I drink lemon water, and I realize that really helps with my energy. So it's really important for you to start to understand like what foods work best for you, because your nutrition is going to directly impact your energy. Number 2, hydration. We need to be hydrated. Many of us are not drinking enough water. Now, I'm someone who's always loved water, but if you are not someone who loves water, you're probably going to want to get one of those water bottles with like the time frames on it. I love having those. It helps me keep track of my water intake and make sure that I'm getting like my 3 liters or my gallon of water that I like to drink day to day. A lot of people, that's too much water. You don't necessarily need to drink that much water. They say you need to drink half your body weight in ounces. So let's say, you weigh 100 pounds, you need to be drinking 50 ounces of water, and go off that. whatever your body weight is, take half of it. You need to be drinking that in ounces of water every single day in order for your mind to be working right. Our bodies are like 80% water. So we need to be drinking water to hydrate ourselves. If you're not hydrated, it's going to cause you to have brain fog. It's going to cause you to drag throughout the day, to feel lethargic. Like you'll realize sometimes that you think you're hungry, but you're really just thirsty. And that's something that's always been amazing to me. Like sometimes I'm thinking like, I want a snack. And then I go, you know what? Let me drink a glass of water, like a full 8 ounce, 10 ounces of water before I go and grab a snack. And you realize maybe you were just thirsty. And then next thing you know, you're eating less. Okay. And so it's a benefit either way. But you really want to make sure that you are carrying your water bottle with you, that you are drinking water throughout the day, and that you are staying hydrated, because it's very important for your brain function and for your body to function if you are hydrated. A lot of times what I see is people will say, oh, I don't like water. I'm going to just drink a bunch of juice, or I'm going to drink all these other like sweet things. That is not helping you. It's not actually hydrating you. You need to be drinking water, whether you are adding fruit in it, lemon in it. I don't care what you're adding in it, as long as it's not, like Kool-Aid or like, lemonade powders or whatever else. Just make sure you are drinking pure water that may be infused, but the whole point of it is that's going to keep you hydrated. Number 3, move your body, right? You need to be managing your energy by moving your body. A lot of times we think if you wait to the end of the day and you go work out, that you're going to be too tired to actually work out. Actually, to the contrary of that, what a lot of my clients realize is when they're taking walks or they're working out, even at the end of their day, it helps them have energy to work on their side hustle or do more things at night. It's very important to not work out to the place of like detriment where you're so burnt out, you're so tired, your body is so sore that you can't do anything, right? You want to have a good mixture of like pushing yourself, but not pushing yourself too hard. I remember working out with a friend in college, and like she would go so hard that she'd be like limping out of the gym. And I'd be like, girl, doing that is not actually going to help you reach the goals you want. Now, back then, we didn't really know what we were doing, but working with trainers, I've been working with nutritionists for years. I realized, yes, you want to continue progressively overloading and like lifting heavier weights and pushing yourself harder, but you don't want to push yourself so hard that you're like completely drained and you can't move, right? But you do want to move in your body. Now, studies show, I believe the CDC actually wants us all to be working out at least 5 days a week for at least 30 minutes per day. So that is about 150 minutes across the week of exercise. Now, I think everybody should have some type of daily movement practice, whether it is just stretching, going for a walk, whether you're doing a full-on workout. Like, we all should be moving our bodies, I believe, every single day. Even on our rest days, we should at least be still moving our body, even if we're cleaning, doing laundry, going for a walk, stretching, Pilates, yoga, whatever it is. We need to be moving. Sitting all day actually signals to our body that we should slow down, whereas movement signals to our body to wake up and to be energized. So sometimes on my days when I'm being like super relaxed, I start to feel even more like lethargic and lazy because I haven't moved my body. And you realize even just doing a couple of jumping jacks, a couple of push-ups, doing like a little circuit at home can boost your energy in ways that you wouldn't even imagine. I had a client before who kept saying, when I get home, I'm too exhausted. I can't do anything. One thing we started doing for her, she would come home from work. She would eat a healthy snack like carrots, apples, like literally like fruits and vegetables. And then she would go for like maybe a 20-minute run or a 20-minute walk. And then she'd come back in and have so much energy to cook dinner, to hang out with her spouse, to do a little bit of writing for her book. And then she'd go to sleep and sleep so well. Now, you don't want to exercise right before you go to sleep. Like, you want to make sure you have at least like an hour to 2 hour buffer before you go to sleep, because of how much energy you're going to feel. It may be hard for you to go to sleep. For some people that happens, to people it doesn't. But overall, this is going to help you to have so much more energy if you're making sure that you're working out and moving your body. The fourth thing that's going to help you to boost your energy: getting rest, recovering, giving yourself time and space to relax, and relaxing without guilt, right? Because when you relax and you're super stressed out, it is not going to help you. You're not going to actually feel relaxed. Now, the way to relax without feeling guilty is to make sure that you're planning your day, that you're using your time well and being intentional, which I talk about in so many other episodes and I help women to do in my coaching programs. But overall, when it comes to rest, we have to stop looking at rest like it's some type of luxury, okay? Rest is a requirement. Rest is productive. Rest and slowing down helps us to speed up. That is something that always runs in the back of my mind. Whenever I'm about to sit down, I'm like, I just need a moment. And then I go, no, you don't have time for a moment because you have this and that to do. And then I go, no. What did you plan for this moment? You planned for downtime. So go sit down and have your downtime. Go rest, because you know that when you slow down, you're able to speed up. You're able to get so much more done in the 30 minutes that you have allocated than trying to push yourself to do something for an hour, 2 hours, knowing that you're going to get to a burnout space. That is like that point where we're dwindling back and forth all the time, where we have to remind ourselves to relax and to not see rest as some type of luxury. Because when you skip rest, you're not saving time, right? It feels like you're gaining time, but you're really not, because your energy is dwindling. And that is a thing that really intersects energy management with time management, that if you are not managing your energy well, you cannot manage your time well, because you're sometimes managing your time in a place where you have all these time blocks, your day is filled out, but your capacity is not there. Your energy cannot fulfill what you put in those time blocks. And this is why this episode is so important. Energy management is so important. And I teach energy management in my Overwhelmed to Organized coaching program, because it is so important that we stop self-sabotaging our focus, and we start actually knowing our capacity and working around our energetic levels, especially for women. Like, our menstrual cycle really affects our energy as well, and knowing how to design our life, which I have an episode on that as well that I will link to this episode, where knowing how to manage our time around different phases of our cycle and manage our time around our hormones and our energy just in general on a day-to-day basis, because we have not only a circadian rhythm, but we also have an infradian rhythm, right? For a certain amount of time in our life is going to impact us directly. So don't just wait till the weekend to rest. Make sure that you're implementing rest on a regular basis, okay? It's not about just getting through the week and then crashing on Saturday. We should have standard times throughout the week we are actually relaxing and recovering from our days. Number 5 is to manage your stress and anxiety. Okay, we have to be managing our stress and anxiety. Our stress and anxiety causes inflammation in our body. It causes us to feel tired. It causes us to just overall not actually have the capacity that we could have had if we weren't so stressed. Okay, a lot of my clients struggle with anxiety. I struggle with anxiety, so I completely get it. But worrying is not going to ever help you. It never does. Worrying doesn't help you. It's just you giving into fear. So if you are someone who's constantly feeling drained and you're feeling like your brain is in fight or flight mode, I want you to stop overthinking and constantly worrying. Figure out ways to manage your worrying and your anxiety, whether it is a worry list, which I love to do and I always tell clients about, because it really helps you to get things out of your head. And a worry list is just writing out all the different things that you're worrying about. Or whether it is stress, like how are you managing your stress? Now, stress is normal. We're going to feel stress. Stress keeps us alive and keeps us safe. But too much stress is going to hinder us. So how are you managing your stress? Are you managing it through working out, through journaling, through meditating, through talking with friends, through having a significant amount of self-care? Like, are you working on your mindset day to day? Many of us are not doing the work we need to be doing on our mindsets, and that is affecting our stress. It's affecting how we see ourselves, and it's affecting how we show up. So find ways to manage your stress and your anxiety, and I promise you, you're going to feel more energetic. As soon as I started really focusing on my inner peace is when I noticed that I was not stressed as much, or if I did feel stress or anxiety, I knew exactly how to overcome it, and I found the tools that I needed to use, and I kept a list of those tools. I referred back to those tools, and those tools always worked for me. The 6th thing that's going to help with your energy management is really tuning into your faith and your healing journey. Now, I had been in therapy for years before I actually realized that I needed to increase my faith. Now, that is not something I ever really thought I needed, but my therapist actually pointed out to me, and she was like, Sade, like, you put so much pressure on yourself. You're trying to control every single thing, and you're forgetting about God's influence in your life. And at first I was like, no, I'm not. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I listen to church on Sunday. Like, I pray. Like, what are you talking about? And then I realized she was completely right. I was definitely like leaning into myself a lot, and I kept thinking that if I just grinded harder, if I just worked harder, if I just kept working on myself, that things would go how I wanted them to go, not realizing that I had to give in to a higher source, a higher being. Now, I'm not saying that you have to give into a certain religion or that you need to follow a certain religion, but what I'm saying is find something that you can put your faith into that is outside of you. Because sometimes your low energy isn't coming just from food or lack of sleep. It's coming from like your soul not being fulfilled, like your spiritual life not being fulfilled. So if you haven't been doing this already, find a spiritual practice that will help fulfill you and give you energy. Something I have started doing probably about a year or two ago is doing a daily devotional, really like spending time with my Bible, meditating on it, praying, spending intentional time with God to really hear what God was trying to tell me or guide me. And it started helping me to have less pressure on myself and feel like I could control any and everything in my life, because I couldn't. And like having that spiritual help really helped me to feel more at ease, to feel more faithful, even in things that I could not see, right? A lot of times we have faith and we have belief, but it's like in things that we could see, right? Faith is really understanding that like things can come into fruition without us knowing how it's going to happen, but because of God and because of the things that can actually be manifested into our lives. So if you haven't already, implement some type of spiritual practice on a day-to-day basis. I think a day-to-day basis is best because I think this is something we all need day to day. And I noticed the biggest shift in my life when I started being more intentional with my spiritual life, because it took away the pressure from me and helped me to believe in something bigger than me that would guide me on my life's journey, and to stop being so stressed and worried about things and just know that things were always going to work out. You'd really be surprised how much having deeper faith can really make a big change in your energy, your capacity, and how you manage your time. The last thing that's going to help you to have more energy is confidence and self-belief. Now, self-belief is your biggest superpower, okay? In addition to everything we talked about today, I really believe in believing in yourself. Like, confidence comes from you doing things that are hard or things you think you can't do, but you overcome them and you do them. A lot of times people wait to feel confident before they do something difficult, before they try something new, not realizing that if we actually do those things first, that is how we will feel more confident, right? Self-doubt is so exhausting. It makes us tired, right? Like, because we're worrying, we're thinking, we're overanalyzing. Meanwhile, when we are second guessing ourselves, we're second guessing every decision, and it drains our energy. We're trying to decide the most perfect thing, and we're thinking and we're doing the absolute most, when we need to reel it in and start believing in ourselves. I talk about this all the time, but whether you go left or you go right, you're going the right way. And I love that quote because it reminds me that no matter which thing I choose, I'm always going to be rerouted to exactly where I need to be, because everything happens in your life for a reason, and it's in alignment with what God ultimately wants for your life. So there really is no reason to not believe in yourself. Start working on your confidence and your self-belief. If that's something you struggle with, you can do it through affirmations, through journaling, through reading books. I'm someone, I'll listen to like YouTube videos on self-confidence. I listen to books around self-confidence and self-belief. I like to do my daily affirmations. I like to keep quotes around me. Whatever it takes for you to start believing in yourself, doing that healing work will help you to be able to get there as well. I've done a lot of like self-care and self-love workbooks, asking myself the right questions and really thinking about like, why did I once think I wasn't enough? Like, where did that come from? How can I remind myself and train myself to believe that I am enough, that I can do all things, that I have the discipline, that I have the confidence, that I have the mental willpower to get through any and everything that comes my way. Like, having confidence and having belief in yourself is going to make the biggest change, because whether you believe you can or can't do something, you are right. And I really love that quote because it's so true. Whatever we believe often is what's going to happen to us, because faith without doing the work and believing in ourselves to get the works done is dead, right? And we all know that verse, but we don't actually implement it into our lives. And I don't get that. Right? Like, we can't just do the work without having faith and without having belief in ourselves. So when you have all of those things, you will realize that your energy is better, it's higher, that you have more capacity, and that you're able to more intentionally manage your time. So your time management and how well you manage your schedule is completely dependent on your energy and your capacity. So this week, think about what areas you can be doing better in, whether it is self-confidence, faith, movement, nutrition, rest, recovery, think about the different things that I talked about today and figure out which one you need to start improving on one by one so you don't feel overwhelmed and trying to do a whole overhaul. But think about which ones are going to help you to have more capacity and have better energy so you can be managing your time better, because I promise you they go hand in hand. And when you start working on these different areas of your life, especially your health and wellness, it is going to directly impact what you're able to get done, how you see yourself, how you view yourself, and how much success you have in the future. If this episode was helpful for you, please be sure to share this with a friend, like, comment, and subscribe to this podcast. And as always, if you believe that you would love hands-on coaching help in order for you to implement what you learned in these episodes, make sure that you apply for my coaching program, Overwhelmed to Organize, or go check out the Time Management Starter Kit, which is always in the show notes directly for you, ready to go, so you can be managing your time in a way that helps you to balance your work, wellness, relationships peacefully. I will see you guys in the next episode. Take care. Bye.